Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. On today's show, very shortly, we will be asking, will Ezra Miller show up at next week's San Diego Comic-Con? We will get into that. We will talk about the Russos complimenting Zack Snyders Justice League Snyder Cut. We will also discuss the Miss Marvel season finale where it was revealed she is a mutant. Yuck, yuck, yuck. And we'll finish off the video talking about Johnny Depp, the pawn of the culture war. He is being used by the extreme left and the right. That's how we will finish off today's video. So let's ask the question, because it's the elephant in the room. Will Ezra Miller and The Flash have a panel at Hall H? It hasn't been announced. They could be surprising us next week and announcing it. They don't actually have to announce it. They could surprise us on the day. Because if you're not going to cancel the Flash movie, and if you're not going to sack Miller for this movie and replace him, because apparently, according to the broadsheets, he's being sacked after this movie, but he's not being replaced. That's the official line, right? So if you're not cancelling this movie, if you're not replacing this actor as Barry Allen, aka The Flash, surely you have to say, fuck it. Yes, you actually have to swear. You say, fuck it. We're not going to cancel this movie. It's too expensive. We're not going to replace him. It's too expensive. It is what it is. Let's just play dumb and let's pretend we don't know about all the stuff he's done, right? If you make the decision not to replace him and cancel the movie, this wouldn't be my decision, by the way. But as someone involved in the industry, if I had a lead in one of my plays or a co-lead on stage with me, but he was a shitbag, right? Or she was a shitbag, or however they identify as, right? But I said, fuck it. I don't want to replace them at this point. I'd have to go with it and just promote the fuck out of it and just play dumb. Don't respond to any questions about the person's conduct. Because, as I say, if they're not going to replace him or cancel the movie, that's what you have to do. So if you're going to go through with this catastrophe, because that's what it is, he has to go at San Diego Comic-Con. You know, Andy Muschietti should be sitting there on a chair behind the table at Hall H promoting the shit out of the Flash movie. If you're not going to replace Amber Heard, right, and you're going to go through with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, then James Wan and his cast, including Amber, whether we like it or not, should be there. Because if you're not going to delete her, you have to promote that movie. And what about Batgirl, that is heavily connected to the Flash movie? You have to announce a release date at San Diego Comic-Con, and Batgirl and the directors and Leslie and Michael Keaton should be part of that fucking panel, as should J.K. Simmons. You should go there proudly, you know, representing these remaining movies. Are they going to do that? I doubt it, but you never know with Warner Brothers. Let's talk about the scenario of the Flash movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Batgirl not being at Hall H. I think that means there's a very serious problem with these movies, which we already know, of course, but there's a serious problem of their existence and them going forward. It would sound insane to cancel Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, because Amber Heard, all you have to do is get rid of her and you've got a $1 billion movie there. I have a lot of faith in Jason Momoa and James Wan to give us something very, very special. There's not many problems with that movie, I can tell you that. But the point being, you know, the point being is, if you make the decision, you've got, as I say, you've got to show confidence within your actions. So if you're going through with these three movies, and in terms of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and especially Batgirl, it will be a tragedy for these movies to be punished, you know, for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom to be punished because of Amber Heard being a nut job, and Batgirl to be punished because of Ezra Miller. He's not, I don't think, he's in the Batgirl movie. Maybe that was another, maybe he actually cameos in the Batgirl movie. Who knows? That's one I haven't seen a test screening for, and I don't have any leaks for that movie, but I can find that out for you in the next few weeks. So it's pretty exciting. San Diego Comic-Con is coming. But, you know, if it is just the promotion of Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods, that tells its own story. Because those two movies were always going to come out, because those two movies are unproblematic, as I've already spoken about. I've seen Black Adam, I've seen the test screening, A-OK. I was surprised how good it is. I love the leaks for Shazam Fury of the Gods. But we know the issues with these other movies. So, yes, Ezra Miller should be in Hall H. You know, the Flash movie should have its own panel. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom should have its own panel. And so should Batgirl. Because if you're going to do this, just fucking do it. One of the things, my issues is that two of these movies have got release dates and Batgirl hasn't. But it does feel in a way that the Flash movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Batgirl are kind of laying dormant, especially Batgirl without a release date. And so by taking everything to the Hall H San Diego Comic-Con panel, you show confidence. You're not scared. You're not intimidated. You're pretending Ezra Miller isn't a problem, and you'll deal with him after that movie. The problem is the Flash movie changes everything and puts Ezra Miller front and center of the new DCEU, which is a huge fucking problem. So if you actually release that movie with him in it, you're saying, well, actually, can we sack him? It will basically. If you want to get rid of Ezra Miller, you replace him in this movie now, because if you stick with him now and then you replace him because of how it reboots everything and it puts him front and center, it's a lot more messier. It makes more logical sense to replace him with this current movie if that's what you want to do. But when did Logic, Hollywood, and Warner Brothers Pictures make a good pairing? Absolutely never. I would suspect at this moment, and I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, I will report that to you with all humbleness, of course. But it's my feeling that the Flash movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Batgirl are not coming to Hall H of San Diego Comic-Con. That's a shame, because they haven't cancelled the Flash movie. You know, they haven't decided to replace Amber Heard, as far as we know. It's Batgirl that's the real worry right now, because they keep on teasing her, but she don't have a release date. It's all very, very weird. Are we going to see these movies or not? If we're going to see these movies, send them to Hall H, get the fans excited, so everyone can get ready for these 5 movies. Black Adam, Shazam Fury of the Gods, Aquaman, the Flash movie, and Batgirl. These are projects the fans should be excited about. But with 3 of these movies maybe not going to Hall H and not really being promoted at the moment, how can anyone get excited about anything? And that's my stance. If you're going to release these movies, send them to Hall H or don't bother. It's one thing or the other. In a way, it just seems like they're undecided about what to do. And that's a problem. It's quite easy to me, as difficult as the situation is, from my point of view, you either release the Flash movie, you stick with Ezra Miller, or you don't. Then you have to cancel Batgirl. This is the problem. This is why they don't want to sack him. They've spent money on Batgirl. It's like Amber Heard. It costs money to scrub her out. Do you go back and put another mirror in, or do you forget about her? Well, even though she's not in a lot of the movie, she's kind of integral because of a certain situation. And that's difficult for them as well. So they're in a bit of a mess. But it doesn't matter, because the way you garner respect in life is by standing there and making a decision. Whether Amber Heard's a problem or not, whether or not they want to sack Ezra Miller or not, they have to make a decision one way or another. And personally, if I was them, as difficult as the situation is, I would have made a decision already, because you can't avoid this. You have to make one decision or the other, don't you? You can't just sit there delaying the movies till next year and go, what should we do? What should we do? Oh, we don't want to lose any money, but this, but that. Make a decision one way or the other. And you have to announce that decision. Because the longer you take, the more problematic it becomes. This time next week, we will know if The Flash, Aquaman and the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I nearly said Aquaman and the Lost Girl. I mean, with Mira and Amber Heard, you could actually call it that, So, in a week's time, we'll know if the Flash movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and Batgirl are coming to Hall H of San Diego Comic-Con. If you're going to release these movies, they have to go there. If those 3 movies are not there, for me, they're not happening. What's this? Marvel directors praise Zack Snyders Justice League. Russo brothers praise Zack Snyders Justice League by Nathaniel Braille of Comic Book. Let's check this out. If the pop-up lets me. Everyone knows the story behind Justice League. After the death of his daughter, it was announced that Zack Snyder would step away from the film, with Joss Whedon taking over as the new director. The film would then go under reshoots that would butcher Snyder's vision for the project. Fans would then go on to start petitioning for the director's vision to be brought to life, and even created a hashtag. Snyder would later make a deal to finish his version of the film, with the rest being history. Some people have wondered how it would be if Joe and Anthony Russo had directed Justice League. But the directors can't see anyone but Snyder doing it. While appearing in a recent video for Wired, the Avengers Endgame directors gave praise to Zack Snyders Justice League. I don't know how to answer that, Anthony said. See the Snyder Cut. That's the definitive cut. Joe would go on to reveal that that's the only version of the film he thinks you should see. Yeah, you don't need to see anything else. For fans looking for more of Snyder's vision, the director doesn't have much of an update. He delivered the cut. Warner Brothers are the ones with the keys to these characters. Look, the story's figured out. I know what to do. It's not a question, Snyder previously explained. But the truth is, the Snyder Cut came out just to give you a sense of it. I haven't heard from them, Warner Brothers. I don't know what they think. I do love these characters and I love the world, clearly. But yeah, I just don't know what their plans are or what they're up to. Snap, Zach, neither do we. Do even they know what their plans are? Do they actually have a plan? Last year at IGN FanFest, the director talked about how important Batman was to the fabric of the Justice League before his movie took place. The death of Superman really shakes him out of that dark place and puts him on this really cathartic path to form the Justice League and do his part. The director recalled, if you think about it, the Justice League is made up entirely of almost godlike characters with these godlike powers, and Batman is just a guy. Yeah, he is the world's greatest detective and he is this incredible force as far as humanity goes. But in the end, he's just a guy. It's like his job of bringing the Justice League together. It was also one of the most important jobs because there would be no Justice League without Bruce. What did you think about Zack Snyder's Justice League, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, very, very interesting. So what do we make about what the Russos have said? You know, the Russos are great guys. They're very talented directors. I don't think they're as great as everyone says they are, but because I'm not part of this MCU is the best fucking thing ever, and anyone who fucking touches it is the best thing ever. But the Russos made amazing movies. Captain America the Winter Soldier, what a job they did with that movie. You know, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. I can't remember if they did anything else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but those films prove how good they are. Of course, with Marvel, the directors are not totally always in control, but the look of the movie, you know, how the movie is, you know, within its narrative is all down to them, and they did a really good job. I do feel they are the best, or probably two of the best directors ever to make any MCU content. Not quite sure about CBN content in general. I don't want to go that far because I don't have a high, broad respect for the MCU in terms of art and filmmaking, but there's definitely been some good artwork and filmmaking in the history of the MCU. Chloe Zhao's Eternals is a really well-made artistic centerpiece, and whether you like that movie or not, they're facts. Whether you like the representation and inclusion, they're facts. But although it's made a lot of money, the MCU, there's nothing really much else to praise from it apart from that. Yes, the continuity, the cameos, the connections, the connectivity is great. But as individual films, rarely are they that artistic or that good as movies. I mean, how many do we go back and re-watch? Are they classics? Most of them are not. There's probably about a handful within over 20 movies and, all the Disney Plus shows they've made as well, that are okay. So yes, I'm very grateful for Joe and Anthony Russo, saying the Snyder Cut is the only version of Justice League to watch. They're right, but it's great that they came out and said it, because most elite creatives and directors haven't said that. James Gunn hasn't said that. Matt Reeves has. The Russos have. Very few good people, elite people in this industry, but the Russos prove here that they are two of the good guys, as is Matt Reeves. So stop putting the Batman against BVS, because Zack and Matt are good mates. I think the Snyderverse trilogy, I know people hate it being called that, but thus far it is a trilogy meant to be more, of course. Those three films are three of the best comic book movies ever made. Facts. It doesn't matter about the box office, but Man of Steel 700 million. Batman vs Superman just under $1 billion. And Zack Snyders Justice League, a worldwide record-breaking digital and physical media success. There's no question about it. These movies will stand the test of fucking time. And a lot of you want more, and I definitely want more as well. When Disney bought Fox, I had mixed feelings because I really hate Disney right now. As a kid, I loved Disney and their animated movies. I loved them. I don't love them anymore. I just don't like what they stand for. But anyway, when they bought Fox, I had mixed feelings. I thought, oh God, I don't want them to dominate. Thankfully, it hasn't turned out like that, really. And with Warner Brothers Discovery, there's some real competition against Disney, and I'm all for that. No one should dominate any industry, whether it's football, whether it's entertainment. We want proper competition. So this week we had the season finale of Miss Marvel. It was revealed that she is now a mutant. You should get used to this type of thing when Kevin Feige is developing the X-Men. Because basically, by making her a mutant, she can be part of the X-Men. I also expect him to change the name of the X-Men to X-People. I really believe this is going to happen. It was actually mentioned in an X-Men film before Fox was bought by Disney as well, when I forgot her name, but she was saying, was it Jennifer Lawrence's character? She was saying, why is it called X-Men? Why isn't it called X-Women or X-People, whatever? Pathetic, right? But it is what it is. I mean, why is it called X-Men? It is what it is, right? It doesn't really matter. Don't look too deeply into it. But it wouldn't surprise me if they changed the, the name from X-Men to X-People. That's not really what I want to talk about. Basically, this is the creative bankruptcy I keep on talking about. They've turned Miss Marvel into a mutant. She will be part of the X-Men. And this is just the beginning, people. You will see a lot of his members of the X-Men look like that. He will make people mutants that were mutants before, mostly women, mostly minority characters. That's what's going to populate the X-Men. Now, there's nothing wrong with having minorities as part of the X-Men team. There's nothing wrong with having women as part of the X-Men team. But when you're taking a character who wasn't originally a fucking mutant and making her a mutant just so you can put her in the X-Men, you can smell it and you can sniff what it is. Creative bankruptcy, everyone. And a lot of people are getting really excited because of the finale and the whole, cameos from the Marvels as well. There's no reason not to be excited. But that doesn't make Miss Marvel a good series. Started off well, but became boring. And it's not a question of representation and inclusion. They really, showed the culture that they were representing in that show. And that's okay. It was bright. It was beautiful. It educated us to that culture. No problem. But that culture became bigger and more prominent than the storytelling. And it became very, very boring from episode 2. And that's where the problem lies. But in terms of being a mutant, of course it's wrong. And of course we can see what he's attempting to do already. It's a typical SJW bait and switch thing to do. And as I say, this is who's going to be populating the X-Men. And will there actually be a Magneto? Will there be a Professor X? And that takes me to Fantastic Four. Lots of fan casts right now for white actors to play this family. I bet you any fucking money that the Fantastic Four as part of the MCU will not be a white family. It will probably be a Latino family, a black family, but it won't be white. So if I were you, I would halt on fan casting white actors as the new Fantastic Four. Whoa, Johnny Depp, he's everywhere, all over the internet. His marriage with Amber Heard is going to be one of the most historical moments in Hollywood history. What's sad about this, it's not about a broken down marriage. It's about the culture war. And Johnny Depp and Amber Heard have been used as part of this culture war. The extreme left wanted to use Johnny Depp as an example of toxic masculinity, and they failed because they fucked with the wrong Marine and they didn't set him up properly. Yes, the extreme left, I'll say it with all confidence, tried to stitch him up, frame him, and they used Amber Heard to do it. They didn't really check Amber Heard out because obviously, you know, the woman is what she is. I mean, there's no more to be said about Amber Heard. So yeah, you've got the left wing who tried to use him as an example of toxic masculinity, and the right, or the extreme right, whatever right, are fighting for him, are saying this is about male abuse, blah, blah, blah. You know, the people taking Johnny Depp's side, or most of them, don't really care about any of that either. It's all about the culture war. I don't like the extreme left. I don't like the right. I don't like politics. I think the political system doesn't work. I don't know what to put in its place. And this is what political conversation is. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, who's right, who's wrong? She tried to frame him. She abused him. She has, you know, she can't. You know, there's no defense for her. He was abusing drugs, he was abusing alcohol, and she took advantage of that to destroy him. She was sleeping with other men, it was despicable, and she said a lot of things about Johnny that weren't true. So I have sympathy for Johnny, but what's happening right now is that man and those two people are being used as a rod. He's the rod, and the extreme left and the right are using him to bash each other over their head with him. And that's the problem. And if you can't see that, you haven't been paying attention. This is the world we live in today. It's nuts and it's wrong. And finally today, Joe Dante, the creator of the Gremlins, and especially Gizmo the Gremlin, wasn't he adorable in those two Gremlins movies? Amazing. Well, Joe has accused the people over at The Mandalorian for copying Gizmo. Basically, he's saying that Baby Yoda is a rip-off of Gizmo. And I said this as soon as I saw him on The Mandalorian. It's fucking obvious. Now, Joe's been very magnanimous about this and said he's not going to sue Disney or the people from The Mandalorian or Lucasfilm. But he's just making the point. And what Joe's really showing us here is that, you know, the two words that I use a lot on Twitter and here on my channel, creative bankruptcy. They didn't know what to do with The Mandalorian. They knew they wanted to do a show about a Mandalorian, but they didn't have a pitch. They didn't know what to do. So they thought, oh yeah, cutesy little Yoda. They thought of Yoda. What if he's a little cute puppet? Gizmo, right? So yeah, that's what they did. And he's cute and he has cute little expressions on his face and we all love Baby Yoda. But Baby Yoda is pretty much fucking Gizmo. Let's be honest about it. And as I say, it shows you the lack of creative imagination these people have today. The Stranger Things show is a rip-off of A Nightmare on Elm Street and loads of stuff that we grew up with. This generation doesn't have a pop culture. It's stealing our pop culture, and it's fucking hilarious. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host, with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you on Sunday for the next show. Until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.